of the word entrepreneur, but have you heard of the word brandpreneur? We have with us an entrepreneur, brandpreneur, Anooja Bashir, who was the pioneering entrepreneur from India to be featured in New York City Times Square. She is Economic Times awardee for the female most inspiring leaders of India. She is also a LinkedIn top voice, a top mate mentor. She has been featured in Forbes, Fortune, and also a prominent figure of 40 under 40. Anooja Bashir, welcome.
Thank you, Rahul.
Anooja Bashir, a brandpreneur who became a brand herself. Tell us something about your coming book, The World is a Brand.
Okay, so I've shared my experience of how I have built my ventures as brand, how I personally build a brand around me with, what do you call that, Anooja Bashir. From how I became a top voice to how did I strategize it. A normal woman from South India, specifically Kerala, where I've always analyzed that part. For South Indians to reach that in a pan India global thing, it's very hard. Even we speak in our own circle that most of the times we have to go to Bangalore or that kind of metros. From there we have an outreach, but from here it's very hard. So I am a person sitting here. I've expanded. I have scaled up. I always had kept my network in that loop, and I'm a huge fan of Simon Sinek, by the way. So, like he has told once in his TEDx talk, I suppose. It's the process of building anything that should be from outward to inward, not inward to outward. So, the first of all, the thing is that you need to have a clear vision of what you want to build. Why, more than what you want to build, I would say why you want to build. Why you want to build, why exactly? Because even in a corporate, you can make this business. When you are an entrepreneur, you have a responsibility of n number of people who are associated with you. When you're failing, you are not failing. Your people are also failing. So, you are crushing the hopes and dreams of a lot of people. So, are you ready for it? And the thing is that, are you ready to take the stress of all those things around you? So, you need to have a proper, clear strategy, clarity, I would say, that what are you going to do?
And also a why, perhaps.
No, why exactly? When the why comes, automatically the what comes. When you are answering that why exactly you want to build a brand, because why comes, there's something called spin theory. So, a situation actually leads to a problem. Problem is not the problem. The implication is the problem. So, the intensity of that implication puts us in deep trouble.
So, to paraphrase her, the why of what is the how of things.
Absolutely. So, the need of is the solution to handle that situation. So, if we can handle that situation, the problem might not be eliminated, but it can be minimized to a level. Naturally, the impact.
See, Anuja, one question that naturally comes to us, because many people were surprised in Kerala, South India, and even Indian circles that Anooja Bashir from Kerala got featured in New York City Times Square billboard. That was a huge achievement. Tell us something about this. How did you feel? How you felt when you saw that?
Okay, so the thing is that that was a campaign in connection with TopMate. So TopMate was looking for some brand experts in their own niches, how they can, the ones who have made a difference. So in branding and marketing arena, I was being selected, and besides, I also was one among that top one. Initially, I was top one, then I was top 3. As per Favicon ranking. Favicon, the top one in the branding and marketing space from India, which I was confused, like, what on earth? They saw in me, they put me in the first list, and now I'm 3 actually. And I'm also
so you
top
regularly
200.
Post content, is that
no,
so?
expert niche things which I talk about, that particular subject of how exactly you can position your venture or as a person, where you can build a brand, where once you're building a brand, what happens is that it comes to you. I mean, people know you, that credential, that trust is built, a commitment is built, and once the loyalty is already happening, the business already flourishes.
And that's a space where I would like to ask, because entrepreneur is a word that is familiar to all of us. But you are being branded by so many prominent institutions like a brandpreneur. You have been featured in Forbes, you have been featured in Fortune. The Economic Times called you one of the most inspiring female leaders. So what exactly is the brandpreneur?
Okay, that's a very, very beautiful question, because usually nobody asks that question, because that is that's a specific segment. I mean, from what do you call the entrepreneur, what difference they do make? Because a brandpreneur is a person who can relatively understand, like a doctor. They can detect. They
A
can
specialist
understand-
doctor, perhaps. Yeah.
a specialist, because that's what, it's not just just like a random general medicine person. It's like a niche one who can I
You're
mean,
not general medicine, you are into ortho, you are into neuro.
specifically,
Yes.
specifically it's brand, because it's not that you're talking about normal product or a service. They might not they might need a consultant, they might not need a brand specialist. A brand specialist would decode the entire structure of the venture like a Sherlock Holmes and understand the pattern of the story. Then decoding that pattern tells you what is the story of the entire product or a service. From there, you understand what are the ingredients that particular venture or product or whatever so has to evolve as a brand.
I understood a working pattern. Just like Sherlock Holmes, suddenly the bulb fumes up. Suddenly it lights up in your brain. Right?
Yes. Today I'll tell you, I'm like a Tony Shark. I'll take like this and I'm like, yeah, because that's an experience. Initially, I mean,
Just
it
like
took
there is
me
an
time.
Iron Man, there is a brand woman.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, because I've worked in different niches, in different domains of how, for example, what works in edtech doesn't work in wellness.
Very true.
What work in that?
Very important point for all the viewers, because it's not something like a generic medicine. You have
Absolutely, because that niche, what their audience are, who their ICP. So because people, for example, again, brandpreneur's differentiation, I would say, a marketer would talk about target audience, but a brandpreneur will always talk about ideal customer profile.
Wow.
Because it's not we say about that, how Drona says it, who sees the eye of the bird, he can only shoot that bird. He or she can. I'll put she also, because I'm that she, no?
Yeah.
So unless you see that, you cannot shoot it. So you need to know who is your ideal customer profile. For that, you have to do a research, because randomly you go and target your audience who are supposed to be a potential audience. That era is gone. Because we are in a highly competitive market.
Personalized, specialized market. The old things are gone.
You need to make sure that what makes your customer or your consumer choose you over other brands. You can't bring in that cliche thing where buy us. You can't do that, because you really need to bring a differentiator. And differentiator is not something that narrative you write. It's something which you put in the psyche of the people, where they really feel that yes, they are the differentiator. So as a brandpreneur, you come with certain kind of strategy that helps to position this brand in that particular domain. Like I said, it is different for deep tech, it is different for SaaS, it is different for an e-commerce business or a D2C business, it is different for an edtech or a health field. So you need to understand that is also not a theory which we learn only from books or from the pedigree you have. It is also an experience which, when you learn that, okay, when you work with that particular domain, you understand these are the things which will run in that. These are the things which you should not even try, because that domain specifically asks for it. So that thing, even though that's why I would always say that you can build a brand not only with a specialist, but also with the founder, because the vision of the founder is something which the brand specialist or the strategist takes it to the level where the brand can be built. But the vision is very important.
If I can add, the good thing about listening to Anuja is, unlike the dry books, which will give theoretical perspectives, she is giving hands-on, real-life experience.
Absolutely, because see, theory is something which is a theory. Of course, theory will help you to understand that,
things, perhaps.
Okay, this is something which when we do, these are the outcomes we get. But once you're in the practical space, there are a lot of things, unwanted elements or unexpected elements, would I say, that would come in space, which the theory doesn't tell you.
I would strongly advise all the MBA grads and brandpreneurs, listen to people like Anuja, because you will get real life experiences.
I do take a lot of sessions for different IMs across India, because they call me, because the theory is already there in the book, but the experience of how this work, it's very different, because unless our young generation understand that which era we are standing, because you can't see that time that worked, but this particular time what works?
Simply what works. As a brand is well known, what are the brands you have given birth to?
So, speaking about initiatives, Oriya was my first venture, though it had two startup failures, but I kept that same brand name, and then we started as a branding company, which was quite successful. And then with my co-founder Vinod Chako, of whom I started the company Oriya, we developed Flexi Cloud. Again, after that, with my CFO, we started a Pocket CFO. So these are my basic three ventures, which is like which me and my co-founders are involved. And then I started an initiative called Need, which is into diversity, where since as a woman, my struggle in the entrepreneurial space was quite a bit hard. I understood that opportunity is very much required for the diversity segment, specifically women, LGBTQ, and differently able. I thought that is something which I need to do, and I had a lot of peers in that same niche. We started Need. Need is nurturing and enhancing, empowering diversity. And then recently I am also a part of One Excel Media, where I'm the director of marketing. And I'm also associated with a venture called Quad, which is into sustainable digital products. Other than that, these are the basic other brands which I am a part of. And I'm also a mentor to kind of like 40 incubators across India, where I work as a mentor to them. Yeah, I would say that those are my initiatives.
And Anuja, you might be familiar with the Karan Johar pattern of rapid fire.
Yeah.
Now we'll have a rapid fire on the brand friend Anuja. You can have fast answers. We'll just see what are the branding insights we can elicit or we can steal from Anuja.
Okay,
Fine?
I'll give it a try.
Yeah. So Anooja Bashir, the first question. Tell 2 or 3 brands you really like. I mean, international, not the local ones. The international brands which we can all connect to. Any 3 brand stories that you really liked and something we can model upon.
Canva. I really like the vision of how they curated that idea into such an expandable brand, I would
Very
say.
true.
Then I would also I also like an Indian brand, Sugar Cosmetics, because when there is a lot of people in that cosmetic space, how Sugar Cosmetics did that pivot. It was like something which I admire Vinita and Kaushik for bringing up that that brand to a next level, where now they are into another venture with Kareena Kapoor. So how they've seen the vision of, when they started at a time when there were so many imported and global products in cosmetics. How do they even think of starting a brand like that?
Absolutely.
So that is something
The third one.
Amazing. And the third one is basically WordPress.
WordPress, very nice.
WordPress, that's,
the way they grew, yeah.
The way they grew, and the founder, because I recently went to Taipei for the WordPress Asia thing. So once I heard that the guy was, the founder talking himself, like, it blew off my mind. Like, how did he even realize that community has got this much power? So his bet or his stake, his gamble was on the people. He knew it, that if communities were built, if the gig communities of developers and freelancers, all across scattered, because they are in numbers, they are huge compared to established organizations.
Very true.
How could he conceive that pattern that the numbers can be a game?
And one brand secret of Anooja Bashir that future brandpreneurs should know. One thing we can steal and learn from you regarding how to brand yourself, how to position yourself as a brand.
So the simple thing is that at each phase, you have to understand where you're standing, where you need to reach, because there needs to be always a benchmark. So it's not that, Rahul, my growth was one fine morning, I woke up and I'm like, yeah, okay, you please sit over here. You are the Economic Times inspiring woman, or you are a influencer, or you are a successful entrepreneur. It's not that. It's actually, how do you analyze yourselves? Where do you stand? So when I started, I was a failed entrepreneur twice. So that was my lesson. I learned a lot of do nots. What are the do nots? And I learned the journey. That was the important part. So once I learned the journey, I understood that entrepreneurship is not a bed of roses. The glam side, which people right now see of all the achievements I've got, like, because even when I sit for a panel
We got it. Neither Anuja nor Rome was built in a day, but you are yet to reveal that secret.
Yeah, I'm coming to it.
Yeah.
I am coming to it. So they asked, how did you build this profile?
Correct.
So I started it
The secret
baby
ingredients.
steps, baby steps. My first benchmark was Shraddha Sharma. Okay, I was watching how she did it. Like, she was also from South. No, she was from Bihar actually. So how did she create? Of course, she had that media backup and all those things. But still, how was Shraddha Sharma evolving? How could she do it? So she was an initial bench. So as my turning points came in, I started keeping a lot of people, not only women. Started keeping men in each phase. Then I started joining different tribes. For example, somehow I learned the pattern of how influencers doing it. I learned LinkedIn. I decoded the strategy of LinkedIn. Then
she's a LinkedIn top voice. Yeah.
Yeah. And then because see, it was not easy. Today, where I stand in, the phase of the LinkedIn, when they say that my content, even today also one of my clients, your LinkedIn it's not like an AI generated content. It's like so experienced. It's full of experiences. So I say that even I use AI.
Absolutely soulful.
Yeah, I use AI. It's not that I don't. We need to use resources, but the content is specifically the first hand is written by me because it is my experience that I'm sharing. So you need to be. So that ingredient would be OG. Be the original piece. Don't see. I follow people, but I learn the essence or the DNA of how did they do it. There's a pattern to it. Like, again, the Sherlock Holmes thing. So I learned how you can be an influencer. It's not that simply I became an influencer.
This is the first time in the world history that a Sherlock Holmes inspired a brandpreneur. Sherlock Holmes might not have even thought in his wildest dreams
seriously.
they are going to inspire a brandpreneur. Okay, 2 or 3 quick questions. One, if you were to meet the 20-year-old Anooja Bashir once more, going back in a time machine, what is the one advice that you give to that 20-year-old Anooja Bashir?
I think if I would not have been that 20-year-old, I would not have been sitting out here. Because those mistakes, those impulsiveness, those erratic decisions, those extreme things. So I believe in the yin yang thing. So I think that whatever I've done has made me evolve to today's me, where I was at a point of time I was impulsive. From there I learned what is patience. At a time where I was like, I was thinking more on the ambitious level was so high. Today I know that, of course, an ambition is out there. I need to conquer every space I can. But at the same time, I also understand that I need my space, my me time. So I travel a lot. I also spend time with my kids as much as I can. Learn that Gen Z thing, where I try to
very important of balancing.
Yeah,
that balancing.
I learned the dressing sense because me being from that old generation. I mean, I would say I'm before the millennials. So in the sense that to be in trend, or like that, as we say, the trendy things. I learned from Gen Zs. I also learned from everything and anything around me. So I think that 20-year-old one inspired me to learn from anything, because learning is a huge process.
I clearly decoded. If Anuja gets a time machine, she will go back to a 20-year-old self and said, thank you for making all these mistakes, because the mistakes are that which made me.
Trust me, Rahul.
Am I articulating right?
No, you're perfectly right, because this question has been, so many people have asked me the same question, but you have put in a very, very beautiful way, because if I would have changed myself in any way, I don't think I would have evolved in this way, because today I'm self-built. I don't have godfathers, godmothers. I don't have anybody who taught. I don't have a mentor as such. But since I didn't have any of these things, I did fall in every pitfall where I realized that, okay, this is how it is. And so I'm careful, I'm cautious. And I would have never understood the essence of balance until I've gone to the dip. And then, so today I am a person who has come from that core. So I know that standing at that point, it doesn't make me invincible. Anytime I can fall. So that pushes me to the level that, I have to do my best every single day.
Okay. Beyond rapid fire, one controversial question. See, there has always been a debate between entrepreneurs and employers regarding whether we should work 40 hours a week. Narayana Murthy of Infosys saying you have to work 70 hours. Bill Gates saying you should only work 30 hours. There's an endless debate. As a female entrepreneur who beautifully balances the time with kids, entrepreneurship, is the 70-hour work schedule right? It's a controversial take, but the audience would like to know how long can you work?
If I need to be honest, I would put across that, sometimes time never works for me. It's like endless time. Sometimes even my employees support for that. But whenever we can take a break, whenever a project is over, we give them work from home or a break. Whenever there is a necessity of they want to be free for some commitment of this, we give that. We try to balance in a different way. It's not that, it's all about productivity. And basically one thing I've always understood, that I talked about balance too. It doesn't mean that I'm perfectly balanced. I am imperfect in so many ways. What I would say is that even in imperfection, we can find the balance. And at a point of time, I always was obsessed to perfection. Okay, I want this, I want this. So today I've learned that sometimes you have to let it go. Sometimes you have to hold off certain things, but you have to have a clarity of what do you want to let go and what you want to hold. So even after having so many backups, even if you have grown to a level where you're scaled up startup, recently we got a Series A funding from Ramoji. So then people told me like, oh my God, what is that? What is the next milestone you're going to do? So according to me, those are milestones. Yes, those are milestones. It doesn't mean that we have completely created a system. Each phase, I think I am my competitor. So today I think that next day or tomorrow or a month later, how much I'll improvise, how much I can. Again, it is not improvise to the level where it's like something that is impossible or not feasible, I can't do. Within my limit, how much I can do it. And one more thing is that success is not all about getting a lot of awards, getting a lot of, the profiling part. Oh my God, whatever they say in that LinkedIn profile, oh, how did she do it? Or my God, she succeeded. It's not that. We need to find our peace and happiness also along with it. Where are we doing something towards contributing towards a society, trying to make a change? You got all this. Definitely you did a hard work, but other than that, are you a change maker? When some boon was given to you, or some power was given to you, are you trying to make it the difference where will you become a signature to the world? When you can make money, you can be successful. People say that success is again directly proportional to money. Of course, money is very important, but the thing is that, can you become a change maker? Will you leave a niche or a mark or a signature in this world tomorrow, even if you're not there? Then you will become a real brand.
Absolutely. Anooja Bashir, if I have to conclude, I would say this. You are a very significant signature, and the way you have articulated regarding brand, entrepreneurship from a soulful point, it's not like an academic discourse, but she's sharing the slice of her life in a very deep and meaningful way. It was a great conversation with you. I hope you inspire much more Anooja Bashirs in future, where the female entrepreneurship of India is really lacking. Let us be honest about it. We need more female entrepreneurs. We need more Anooja Bashirs. And
it's not Anooja Bashir's, Rahul. We need more power. See, people should inspire me, should learn the essence from me, but definitely they need to make their own stories and make their own signature.
And absolutely. And that's one hallmark of her too, her humility and humbleness, So that's very nice. And one of the most beautiful articulations was when I heard she will thank her, the 20-year-old self, for making all the mistakes. So learn from Anuja. It has been a great privilege and pleasure. May she inspire a whole lot of brandpreneurs in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.